Like, I don't like any of this. Very uncomfortable.
Hey, you know what?
What?
A smart man once told me that if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Hey, there you go.
It was you.
Be uncomfortable. The name's Rusty Towery, Precision Expedited. We started it about 8.5 years ago, through just organic growth, development, putting the right people together, and it kind of lined up to where this was the right move to make. And it's grown well over the years. Steady, consistent, got a great team. Sky's the limit. It's a big industry that we serve, so we make a lot of parts for a lot of different people. It's a lot of fun. Well, you know, it all boils down really to customer service. As with most industries, that's really what we're selling. We have great equipment. We're focused on efficiency. So we try and do things as quickly as we can, try and keep a lean, agile crew together, skill set of manufacturing equipment that we can fill orders as fast as possible for a lot of prototype product development type manufacturing is what we focus on. At the end of the day, what we do is quite commoditized. It's manufacturing, it's machining. So the customer service element is really huge for us. We have a great reputation because we stay on top of the communication, just being a very proactive team, really kind of, if there's something that sets us apart, that's probably it. Yeah, good question. And really, I think the primary differentiator is we operate a single point of contact fashion where you have an account manager basically that takes care of the customer from start to finish of the project. That streamlines a lot of different things, and it alleviates a whole lot of issues when projects get passed from one set of hands to the next. So keeping control, having one point of contact, dealing with that project and that customer makes a big difference. We get a lot of great feedback about that because the project isn't handed off to multiple people for them to miscommunicate and things get, that's how problems arise. So when you have one owner, it makes a big difference in the efficiency and the ability for that communication to take place between the customer and the project manager. So that's kind of the foreground of how we do what we do, and it works really, really well. Drawbacks are it's somewhat difficult to scale. When it comes to that, you have one person, they're only capable of spending this much time throughout a given day. And so we do have project managers in the background to help support some of our higher, more productive salespeople. So there is scalability there, but yeah, having a good solid team that's good at what they do, a lot of proactive communication, taking good care of the customer's needs before they ask the question, have the answer. Doesn't seem like rocket science, but it's also quite a challenge in the industry. Especially manufacturing, where a lot of customer service kind of falls off. And so just being strong in that category is really what gives us a great reputation.
So
yeah, it's interesting, and it's been said a lot that you can teach skills, but we look very closely at basically personality. It takes a certain type of character, a certain drive, a certain ability to multitask, personable skills, and that happens with we have very young kids on the team, and we have very senior 30-plus year experienced injection mold operators, machinists. They've all been able to transition into great project managers, salespeople, account managers, but it's all about how well you deal with people, really, and how much you can put on your plate and efficiently manage. We are so diverse in the industries that we serve. It's hard to say what we like working with more or less. We do a lot of aerospace. We do a lot of medical. Those are they're completely separate industries, but when it comes to manufacturing, they're very intertwined in terms of quality needs, precision needs, timelines, very aggressive. But we build parts for all sorts of things. When you think of drones, satellites, airplane parts, car parts, medical stuff, consumer stuff, it really is all across the board. Think of anything metal or plastic that exists in the world, we can be a service to it. So it's all over the place, really, which kind of makes it a lot of fun to work with. Good question. We don't market. We don't have a pull strategy. We target the clientele that we want to work with. We, first of all, grow through a lot of referrals, which is really a testament to the team and how they do what they do. is we get passed around a lot from one company to the next, but we don't market the company well. We target the clientele that we're looking for through a variety of mediums, but we go out and introduce ourselves. And a lot of new clients come on board and they go, we've never heard of you. Well, it's a little bit intentional because we're not out there plastering our name on everything to get as many customers to come through the door as we can. We're kind of doing the opposite. We're going through with a scalpel and looking at the new product being developed and introducing ourselves to that team to see if we can be of service. So we go through and look hard at who's going to be a good potential client and maybe who might not be as efficient with their time, you know? On the front end, getting the details dialed in, making sure that new designs are ready for production. We do a lot of DFM, design for manufacturability analysis, to make sure that designs are optimized. So there's a bit of a consultative element to, especially obviously before things go into production, we have to make sure that it's producible. So that's what we've got, a pretty good skill set between our own in-house team and then our vendor network to make sure that things are ready to go when it's time to hit go. So clients come to us, engineers, young and old. A lot of the younger guys were really helpful with helping them with their designs, with features that could be made cheaper, could be made more efficiently, could bring lead times in, all those factors that go into the overall project. So getting that right on the front end really helps out when it's time to actually cut metal or plastic. Yeah. Well, quoting optimization is kind of a double-edged sword, really. In my experience, the algorithm structure, that can produce things efficiently and quickly, but there's nothing that can replace a human being digging in and making sure that something is accurate. So even when you have algorithms producing prices for things, that's a great method to make things, it speeds up quoting massively. And so having that accurate is the second piece of that puzzle being put together that really does a lot for the efficiency of the sales team. Because quoting manually, you're always guaranteed to get it right, but it takes a long time. A lot of resources and expense go into just getting accurate quotes out the door. So multiply that over a very diverse, demanding customer base with a lot of activity going along. The quote engines that are out there that we use primarily internally right now, but it really helps the sales team do their job and get things out the door for our clientele. We utilize the quote engine technologies. Enabling AI into that really helps make things on the front end more efficient, but you still want to have a point of contact for each project because changes happen, especially in product development manufacturing, where a lot of times we're building something for the very, very first time. Things may not always go well. And so if you don't have a good, solid team on the front side to make sure that changes are being addressed and things are being done efficiently, it doesn't matter what technology you throw at it, things can still go wrong. And so that's where having a team isn't going to ever, in my book, change. We'll still need good, solid project managers, technical people, communicative team to get things done for our customers. AI is not going to change that. Quote engines aren't going to change that. It's still going to take the experience of a good qualified team. Let's see. We've done a lot of random things. It's hard to say really because a lot of what we build, I don't know what it is. They're just parts to me. So we've done some really wild things in the energy sector that have presented amazing challenges. We've done some very early stage product development in the automotive space that have brought lots of interesting, quirky designs. Some that it had to be metal 3D printed, others castings, and then a lot of machining, sheet metal fab, injection molding. That's all within our capability range. So to identify one specific part, I've got a few in mind, but I also am probably not allowed to say because we're under NDA with everyone. So it's a hard company to market really because I can't tell you what we're doing.
Of course.
So what this capability that you see here, it's a small shop, but what it's designed for is to be more of a supplement to our vendorship. We have a global supply chain. We import parts from multiple countries overseas. We also manage a pretty wide network here stateside. And so having the in-house capability to make quick fixes, to add simple features, to be able to knock out little projects that arise all the time is really the biggest value of the in-house capability for us. We do have plans to grow this capability beyond where it is now, begin to take that production work, begin to be able to knock out prototypes faster for customers. But right now, it's really great to have the in-house capability to make the quick fix, to add those holes in those parts that were missed by another shop. It puts out a lot of fires in that regard. So they don't have to, these machines don't have to sit here and be running all the time and make money. They're valuable just to have when the time arises and we can knock something out in a day or two for a guy, for example. These are production machines with the bar feeders. These are really efficient, live tooled. And then the other lathe and the 2 mills and the manuals are for anything quick turn, simple fixes, adjustments that need to be made to current parts, things like that. So again, just a good skill set of capability to do a diverse volume of parts. These are large capacity vertical mills. This one has a 4th axis on it, so there's a lot that it can do. Again, getting the most capability out of the least amount of equipment is kind of the name of the game here, I guess you'd say. But again, a large machine so that we can put tiny parts and we can put very large parts. Having a large build envelope is nice because a small machine can only do one thing, but a big machine can do little and big, and that's good to have. You know, learn all you can, find those opportunities where somebody needs something and provide it for them. That's how it all starts. So get out in the industry and learn where there's demand and who's looking for what and build it that way. I guess I've coined the, don't create something and then go try and find a buyer. Find somebody that's trying to buy something that can't find it and provide the product for them. A lot of guys start out and they think they've got a great idea and they go spend their life savings on producing it only to find out that maybe nobody really wants it. So I've always preached to do it the other way. Find somebody that needs something and find a way to create that for them so that there's always demand for what you're making.
I think it's a universal truth. Absolutely universal truth.
Nothing new about it.
Great.
Well, head to the website, precisionexpedited.com, contact at Precision Expedited, email me directly, Rusty at precisionexpedited.com. I'll get you plugged in to our solid team and hopefully we can help you out.
Thank you so much, Rusty. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Howdy, I'm Landon Dale. I'm our warehouse manager here and I also manage our quality control. Started here 2 years ago. We started off as a one-man operation part-time as the logistics. And since the last 2 years, we've grown into a 3-man full-time operation here, managing the logistics and quality control of stuff in the warehouse, and that's my job here.
That's crucial.
Biggest challenges is the quality control. When we get stuff in, we are the last line before it gets to the customer, so we want to make sure nothing happened to it. A part might come off the machine perfectly good, but if on its way through the inspection process, deburring, and cleaning and everything, packaging, there could be something happens in there that it gets a scratch or a dent or something, and we want to make sure we catch that here. And that's what I've been a big part of is documenting parts, documenting inspections, and then making sure that when we ship it, it can get through the whole process without being damaged. I come from UPS. I was there for 5 years before I started here, so I took a lot of that experience I had in the kind of the shipping industry and try to apply it here to make sure that our customers got the best product that they can. We use an online service, File Cloud, for all of our documentations and basically ensuring that there is a path of inspection, and those correlate with the project manager. So there's all everything on one project is controlled by a project manager, and so we can put information that we get from here into their folder for a project, so that way everyone can see the logistics of it. If there's any problems with it, we can communicate back and forth with that process. So that's been a huge part of it, is getting that documented through our File Cloud service.
And ensuring like traceability and everything,
yes.
like every data point and every like single step.
It's very important to recognize when stuff happens in the process, so if there is ever an issue, you can determine where it's at so we can make sure that it doesn't happen again. So that's been a big project for me, working with both of our presidents here, trying to get the process scaled with how much we've grown in the last few years. Next milestone is probably the just quality control for me. I've been doing the warehouse management and the logistics for a long time, and I'm kind of handing that off to the guys. And I'm probably going to be moving more into just the quality side because it's a huge part of what we do. I mean, everything depends on that they get a good product that is what they ordered and what we made. So that's what I'm going to be probably stepping towards.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi there, my name is Harman Soki. I'm the machinist for Precision Expedited. So I started machining, my father's a machinist and my grandfather was a blacksmith in India. So metalwork is in my blood. And when my dad got to this country, he worked as a machinist while I was growing up, all my life, always busy. And around the time I was a teenager, he opened up his own shop. And I'd get picked up from school, I'd end up in the shop, I'd end up getting my hands dirty and playing around, and over time I picked up the skills, and now that's what I do.
That's the best way to learn anything, basically.
Hands-on. It is much more rare to find these things in schools nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, often the skills are picked up through family or family friends or some type of connection that way. So yeah, that's how I picked up those skills as well. So a lot of hats. I will be communicating with the salespeople to, give them advice on what we can do, what we can't do, maybe what kind of resources would be best for certain types of jobs. If we determine that the requirements that they have can be accommodated in our shop, then from there I will do everything from ordering material, ordering the tools, creating the fixtures, doing the programming, and then eventually actually cutting the part and QCing it and handing you over a completed piece. But that's where my skill set is at. But in terms of PE, if we need to sweep floors, we're doing that. If we need help moving, we're doing that. If we got to put up conduits, I helped put in all these electrical conduits, which was a new skill for me. But yeah, whatever needs to be done, that's what I'm here for. We didn't even have any machines. Precision Expedited didn't even have any machines for many years. So we started out with just these two. And actually the mill, it didn't even have a fourth axis in it. So, as we would get jobs in, I would basically be able to say, oh, we can do this or we can't do this. And if we couldn't do something, I would be able to tell them why. And sometimes we would be able to invest in more tooling. And so this is a 3-axis mill, but we have 4th-axis capabilities now. I guess I've kind of helped consult in terms of how to set up a machine shop. So this is a manual mill. It's somewhat of a relic from times gone by.
Yep.
But with that said, it's still a staple in a functional machine shop. This is the grandfather of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So back in the day, the way parts were made were one at a time, and you could only have one tool in at a time. And so in order to create complex parts, they didn't even have DROs if you go back far enough. They were making the readings off the machine itself. So in the past, this was a primary mill. Now that we have CNC and multi-tool turrets and all types of goodies, the role that this plays in the machine shop is like quick turnaround. No programming required. Stick your part in there, find your dimensions, and start cutting. So it's really great when you are creating a fixture to set up a job for production. If you need to make a quick adjustment, throw it on here, make the hole bigger, cut some material off. So it really comes in handy for non-programmed parts. And whereas the CNC, it's a totally different process. You want to program, set up, prove out the first part, and then you start cranking out parts. This one's more like a one and done type of machine. So the way that we were running the shop before, we were taking in jobs that were kind of like putting out fires. The direction that we want to move in now is to get more into rapid prototyping. So what that means is low production quantity and quick turnaround. So that's kind of the direction we're moving into. From there, there's always the opportunity to expand your capabilities. So for example, we have a vertical mill, a manual mill, lathe. We don't have any ADMs, we don't have any sinkers. So there's all types of areas that we can expand into that would, for example, if we had an EDM, we could take on jobs that an EDM can't do by itself and a mill can't do by itself. But if we have both, it's like 1 + 1 is 11 instead of 1 + 1 is 2. They would both kind of compound with each other and be able to expand our capabilities more so than just one machine by itself. So yeah, I would say that's kind of the direction we're going in. Expand our capabilities. Even the size of the machine limits the types of jobs we can do. There's also different machines like 5-axis CNC mills. Those can also drastically increase the complexity of the parts that we're able to manufacture. So yeah, it's just a matter of, you know, step by step, expanding the capabilities and taking on more jobs and pushing it. You know, oftentimes it's saying yes to a job that maybe you don't know if you can do, and figuring it out along the way and creating the possibilities of being able to accomplish the things you couldn't do in the past. So that's kind of the direction we're going in. Expansion, growth, you know. So out of the machines here, I would say it's the mill with the 4th axis attachment. But personally, I like 5-axis mills. It makes it extremely easy to do the 3-axis jobs, but then the dynamic capabilities of a 5-axis mill, I mean, you can really make some cool stuff, like really cool stuff. Like let's say, you know, you want to remanufacture a Porsche 911 engine crankcase, you could do nearly the entire thing on the one 5-axis mill. So I really enjoy those, and yeah, I'm always going to have machines around me, you know, like that. Once you have the skill, then you kind of see problems as solvable with machining. So yeah, I think I'd like to get myself a 5-axis for, you know, for myself.
Very nice.
And if we had one in the shop, that'd be amazing.
And you clearly have a big passion for
Oh yeah,
all
absolutely.
that.
I mean, it's not just the machining. I'm passionate about machines. So I love cars, I love airplanes, I love, you know, when I see a helicopter flying around, like I know it's made of the same material, you know, steel, aluminum, you know, various, and this stuff is heavy.
Yeah.
And so when people can collaborate together to turn something that inherently wants to fall down, and they have it levitating in the air, I mean, to me, that's magic. That's magic. People used to dream about flying. Now we fly. And that's all capable from, you know, back in the day, machines like this, in the more modern times, CNC machines. And yeah, all of this combined with a lot of mental horsepower from a lot of smart people, and that's what makes our world amazing, and what makes it run is all of these different types of machines. So yeah, definitely.
Totally. People gets to be excited about the manufacturing machining and just metal.
Yeah, they get to be excited, for sure.
For sure. Cool. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.